Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on? Hey, so you all see me by myself today. Chris is having some technical difficulties with his microphone. But you know, we're gonna keep this thing rolling until you can hop back into this into the podcast. Don't want to keep it delayed. You guys know I am the bearded one, bearded realtor. And welcome to the Real Talking Real Estate. So we have a very, very, very special guest today. I've known her for quite some time now, probably a few years now. And we are super excited to have her on the show to share her experience and share her real estate journey and all the amazing things she has done. Let me hop in my phone really quick to go through her resume and all the boards and things she sits on. So she is, let's see, let me get to it. Miss Jaquelyn Boyd. She's also a broker associate. She's on the Directors Florida Realtors Board. She's on a member of the Florida Realtors Diversity Committee. She's a vice chair at NEFAR's Global Business Council. She's also on the NEFAR Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion Committee. She's an RPAC major investor. She's also a part of the Young Realtors Division of NAREB as a chaplain. And she just completed the NEFAR Leadership Academy last year in 2022. There's Chris. He's back now. So we want to bring on. Say again? Yeah, we can't hear you though. We're going to bring on Miss Jaquelyn Boyd.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, Miss Jacki, how are you?
What's going on? I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing very well.
Wonderful.
Not really sure what's going on with Chris's microphone. Can you hear Chris?
I hear him very faintly.
Hey, maybe you have your microphone set up wrong or something. I don't know what's going on. You got going over there. I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds like he cussing.
You can't do that, Chris.
All right.
Can you hear me just a teeny bit? Just a little bit, but
yeah, he's way, way, way far away.
Like I'm way far away?
Yeah, it's like you're in a hole somewhere.
Okay, I think I got the answer. Maurice, check your ladies and gentlemen. We finna make it happen. Send me a link, Maurice. Send me the link.
He said, what did he say?
He said send him the link. We're gonna make it happen. We can hear you a little bit, Chris.
Maurice, tell Maurice to send me a text, the link.
Each time you talk, your volume is getting a little louder.
Your volume's getting better.
It's getting louder and louder and louder and louder and louder.
There you go.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Barely.
Can you hear me now? We can hear you now.
Maurice said barely.
Yeah, barely. You might have put
whatever
the mic.
You held to your mic, to your mouth. Was that a mic? We could hear you.
Yeah, can y'all hear me now?
Yes,
we can hear you now.
I hold the mic up here like I used to do back in the day when I used to rap for him. You understand?
Oh, okay.
Hey, so we're gonna roll on with Chris's
roll on with it.
Microphone check.
Microphone check. 1 2 1 2.
It's working now.
There you go.
Nice
and clear now.
All right, cool.
All right. So Jack, we like to get started out. Tell us, who is Jaquelyn Boyd? I know you from, can I say it, Be More.
Home of the Ravens, baby.
Yeah. All the way down to Jacksonville, Florida. Diva.
There you go.
Making it happen all the way. Making it happen.
Absolutely. So tell us about Jacki. Give us a rundown of who Jaquelyn Boyd is.
Okay. Well, I'll give you, the bio of how I got here, and
yes.
That what we do is not necessarily who we are, right?
Absolutely.
But Absolutely. I'm going to give you a little background of me. So I am from Baltimore, very proud to be a Baltimorean, graduated from Towson State University, and worked for CSX. That's how I got to Jacksonville. Worked for CSX. They relocated me here. They have been talking about relocating from the time I started, and 5 years in, they made the big move and gave a handful of us relocation packages. And I was fortunate enough to be one of those who got a relocation package. I'm a homebody. I love my mama. I love my family. I didn't want to leave. My fiance at the time was military. He had lived all over the world. So for him, it was just another move. And we got here and, you know, found a church home, friends. We actually relocated with a couple, with a handful of families that we now still are friends to this day, 22 years later. So I say I spent half of my life in Baltimore and half of my life in Jacksonville. And that's a real, that's very, very real. You know, I worked in marketing all my life. My background is in marketing. You know, I actually had a radio show when I was in college called Mahogany Magazine. You know, and you would go around town in Baltimore and find people to interview and host about really fun and significant things happening in the city. And so I thought I was going to be the next Oprah, guys. Seriously, like I went to school. My background is in communications, and I did the whole thing. I did the radio program. I did television stuff, and I really thought I even worked for a WMAR Channel 2 in Baltimore. I was a news desk help hand. And I really thought I was going to have the opportunity to be the next Oprah. I remember my news director coming in the newsroom one day and says, Jackie, this is your big break. If you want to break in this industry, you have to pay your dues. And so there's a little teeny weeny station in Elmira, New York, and they're looking for someone just like you. So he assigned a photographer to me, and he assigned a cameraman to me, and he had to go out there and you hold the big camera. And he said, I need you to do put your video together. I need to send it to my friend in Elmira. And if you really want to break in this industry, you got to take this job. I was 6 months before graduating from college, 5 years in. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do about graduation? He said, I don't know what you're going to do about graduation, but if you want to break in this industry, you got to go to Elmira, New York.
Wow.
And so I was really, you know, betwixt and between about what to do. I didn't accept the Elmira job. And you know what? I often look back, but you know, our life, we don't know the path. God knows. I'm a woman of faith. God knows the path.
Absolutely.
But the path that I chose was the one, and God would have blessed me had I gone to Elmira. I believe that. And he blessed me with the fact that I didn't go. But I believe that I am right where I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? I believe that wholeheartedly. And so that's how I got to Jacksonville. You know, I've been blessed to have a very diverse background in my employment. I've always been in marketing in some sort, but I worked for Jacksport. I worked for CSX. I worked for the Duval County Health Department. I worked for the Florida legislature. I was the district aide for a state representative for 6 years. And then I launched my own business in marketing, Right Solutions. I launched my own business. And then a friend of mine said to me, you know, you would be great in real estate. And I was like, okay, you know, and that conversation led to another conversation. I didn't really take it seriously at first, took the class, did not pass it, said, oh, whatever. And then 2 years later, life happens. We know when life happens, sometimes you make a pivot, right? You make a pivot.
You got to pivot. You got to shift.
And so life kind of happened. You know, I was married, wasn't married anymore. I found myself being a single mom, found myself having to raise 3 children, you know, 8, 10, and 12. Their father, my ex-husband, passed away. And so now I am really left with life, you know? And so I was faced between, do I go back to Baltimore to what I was familiar with and had come to, you know, I had left, or do I stay in Jacksonville? My children had grown up here. You know, we were in the same church, Hopewell. We were in the same home, the same school. So for them, they had stability, even though around them life had changed. So I had to just ask, and I remember this prayer, Lord, give me supernatural energy and power. You know, I prayed that prayer because I knew that in order for me to take care of my family and to really face what was in front of me, I was going to need something greater than me. And so it kind of evolved. It happened. My friend said you would be great in real estate, didn't take it seriously, took the class, didn't pass it, started again. And then I said, you know what? It's time for me to really focus on this. And in 2016, I did. And so since 2016, I've been in real estate, and here I am.
Wow.
Okay. So what do you think? What do you think the biggest thing for you in 2016? What do you think that thing was that made you say, now's the time, I got to make this happen?
Okay, let me tell you guys, when you had your first host on, Josh Rogers, I listened to every word he spoke, and a lot of what he said I could resonate with. He said a lot of things, but one thing for me that I resonated with is like, man, I was moving along and flowing, but it was just like, if you pull the layers back, man, pieces was just going to fall apart. You know what I mean? And so in 2016, I was facing the possibility of losing my home. And it was a very scary, and it was funny. There were two parallel things happening. I was facing the possibility of losing my home, and I had, from my work with the district aide, with my state rep, I was working with a senior citizen who needed help with her granddaughter with housing. And I helped this young lady get into one housing community and another housing community. But in 2016, when the end of my road had come with my state rep, I was facing the possibility of losing my home. And this young lady was needing a home. And it was amazing how God just made all these things come together at a specific time. And I remember one of my pastors at church telling me, because I was telling him, he knew what was going on. He said, Jackie, to whom much is given, much is required. And you have to help this young lady. And my mind was like, but I need help myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
I had to help her. I mean, it was just, it was ordained. And the way things happen is just a whole nother segment, a whole nother podcast, maybe 3 or 4. But I will just give you the cliff notes. The way God moved, the parallel was happening. She was, 7 children, needing anything of a home. I was trying to keep my 4-bedroom, 2-story home. Although our homes looked differently, we were going down the same path, right? Because what I realized is that home is where your stability is. It's where everything starts, okay? And so whether it is a $400,000, $500,000, $100,000 or rental, we all need the same thing from home: security, safety, love, acceptance, and protection. We want to raise our children. We want to entertain our friends. We want to create memories. That's what home is. And so for me, it was like, God, you are amazing, because you brought all these things happening at the same time, and now real estate became like, I tried it before, it didn't work, but now, I'm going to make this thing happen now. By the grace of God, I was able to keep my home. By the grace of God, I was able to help this young lady. And you know what? The rest is history.
That's good. That's good. That's the common theme that we hear with everybody. It was at some point that desperation kicked in, and you had to say, enough's enough. This has got to work. This has got to work.
When you're so low and the only thing you can do is look up, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's where we need to be, to hear the message, get the wisdom, to get the experience. And all of us go through what we go through, not for ourselves, but for somebody else.
Because somebody's watching you.
Somebody watching. Everything we have, somebody needs, somebody wants. You know what I mean? Everything. So you have to live your life in such a way that you are blessing somebody else.
That's good. That's good.
Well,
Maurice, got one?
No, go ahead.
So what is it? So let's just talk about your journey, right? Let's talk about your journey. So now it's 2016. Enough's enough. You jump into the real estate industry. What was that first year like?
It was like, okay, so I tell baby agents, I'm like, listen, passing the test is just getting you in the door. That is all it is. You study for that test and you feel like you are like, what have I done? You're speaking, it's a foreign language, right? Yeah. These are concepts and so much that's unfamiliar to you. They're foreign. But you have to pass that just to get in the door to learn real estate. You know how you learn real estate? Not by a book and a test. You learn real estate boots on the ground. Yeah, so once I pass that test, and listen, when you go to the doctors, Chris or Maurice, do you say, hey, doc, how many times did you take your medical test? You don't. He just has Dr. James Smith behind DR, right? So nobody asked me, it doesn't matter how many times did you have to take that test. I got this license. I'm now in this club and I'm going to learn. So that first year was learning. It was learning. It was really wondering, how am I going to make this work? And I remember there were some key people who made a difference. To this day, I still give them props. Felicia Mitchell, my girl, she was my, you know how you gotta let your discernment lead you to people. And everybody who says they're for you may not be for you. And not that they mean it wrong, right? They're just not. Sure. Yeah. When Felicia said, if you need any help, let me know.
got you.
And so I would call her that first year, Felicia, what is this? I remember my first time having to write a contract. She said, call me and I will help you go through it. I'm like, these 9 pages, 12 pages, what is all this? But she literally walked me through and helped me. She said, Jackie, if you need anything, call. And I took her up on it. To this day, we are friends. I have mad respect for her. We still help each other. But she was that person who took me by the hand and was like a mentor for me. And I think every agent needs that. You know, you have big systems and big processes and all of this and that, but you need that 1 or 2 persons who are going to say, you know what, I got you. I'm not going to judge you. It doesn't matter when you call. I got you. And Felicia was that person for me.
That's good.
Gotcha.
That's good.
So that first year was really just really learning real estate, like really understanding it, boots on the ground, understanding what it means to prospect, understanding what is a sphere, you know, understanding what your sphere is, understanding that you have to know your contracts. I remember my broker, Bernard Thomas, he said, if it's not in writing, it does not exist. I still use that today. It has to be in writing. It holds everybody accountable and protects everybody. So understanding your contracts, having people who are in, you know, on your front row, being able to call on people who you know will support you, and learning, just being a sponge. So that first year, that's what it was like for me.
How many times in that first year did you thought, you know, this ain't for me? I'm finna go get this little corporate job, and I'm finna go sit behind somebody's desk and sit down somewhere. How many times you thought about that, and what was the thing that stopped you from doing that move?
Yeah, actually, I thought about that several times, and I have to give give credit back to Felicia, because, you know, when people are authentic, Chris, see, that's the problem sometimes. We want to be all deep and stuff. You know what I mean? Be authentic, be yourself. And when you are that, you help people, you bless people, and people, energy attracts energy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so when you can be yourself, you not only are you helping other people, you ain't got to remember who to be. Just be yourself and be you. And so there were plenty of times that I said, you know what? Don't think I can do this. But Felicia was there saying, Jackie, yes, you can. You know, I had good support in my broker, and you know, I liked the environment of people working together. And so a lot of our agents at the time, we worked together, we did things together, and we supported one another. And so it just kept me there. And I was making a little bit here and there, you know what I mean? And I liked, here's this: success begets success, right? You have one success, that's a good feeling. You want another one, you know what I mean? And so when I had that first one, man, you want that next one. And when you have that one, you want that next one. So it's like every round goes higher and higher, it just builds on each other. And so for me, that was happening at the time in my life.
Got you. So I guess we would say that Felicia was more or less your accountability partner. So how important do you feel having an accountability partner for other agents who are coming up in this business? What does that accountability partner do for you?
You need it. I mean, whether in real estate or in life. Okay. I have a Gen X and a millennial. I can't keep the X, and Y's, and Z's mixed up.
I can't keep the X's and the Y's and the Z's.
You know, but I have all of them. I have them all, stair steps like that. They're all adults, but this is what I tell them. I tell them that, listen, you have to work at being your best self. Okay. And, you better seek out people who are not going to just be yes people to you. Like, I want somebody to checkmate me. You know what I mean? Because if I rely with just what's in here, it's no telling where she'll go. You know what I mean? I want a checkmate. I want that front row people. You know, so my mother, I grew up knowing that you have a Paul, a Barnabas, and a Timothy in your life. Your Paul is your mentor. Your Timothy is your mentee. Your Barnabas is your compadre. You're walking side by side with. Now, if all I have are Barnabas is around me, how am I going to grow?
You ain't gonna grow.
If all I have are Timothys, who's pouring into me? You know what I'm saying? So you need to have a balance of people in your life, and don't be afraid of critiques. Don't be afraid of constructive criticism. Don't be afraid of people telling you, sis, you missed the mark on that. Don't be afraid of getting into a healthy disagreement or even argument with somebody who's going to help you reach your next level.
That's good.
I don't want yes people around me. I don't know. That does not help me.
It's not going to do no good.
It's not going to do me any good.
Right.
So it is so important that you have that mentors play a major role. You know, again, outside of real estate, look at school. A lot of kids coming to school every day. I went through a training once when I was teaching Sunday school, and it said, listen, you don't know what kids are coming from or what they have to go back to. So you might be the only Jesus or the only smile or the only whatever positive they see. So you need to project that, right? So with that said, like, we need people who mentor us, and we need to be able to mentor others. And in this industry, particularly, we need that. Because until you are able to stand on your own pad and launch, you need somebody to hold, to walk you through.
Right.
Gotcha.
Let's stay right there. And I think Maurice is
I'm about to stay right there too. So you've been in the business, we'll say, what, 5-6 years now at this point. So, and you've seen agents come and go. What do you think is the biggest thing that agents have left this business for? What was the reason, and how could they have really overcome that challenge if they tried? Go ahead.
Okay, so let me back into that. You know, pictures are real, right? So we post, we smile, we close. It looks, it looks kind of fabulous. It looks kind of, like, man, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's not gonna be real though. No.
Just sold.
Listen, right? Just sold. Oh, coming soon, whatever. For that moment in time, that frame is real. It's real.
Right.
We really did have that closing. We really did share that moment where we're smiling and everybody's happy. We really did hold the key up and we're happy. But that you have no idea what came, the 45 days, the 60 days
You
that came
talk,
before that.
Jackie boy, you better talk that talk on this doggone show.
I'm telling you, you have no idea what it took to get to this. You have no idea. So when people see that, I'm like, listen, don't, and I tell my kids, don't get caught up in the gram. Don't let the gram fool you, because the gram is a moment in time. It's a frame in time. But you have to know what comes before that. And for us, there's so much that can happen before that to get to that point by hook or crook sometimes, right? You praying, Lord, please let this go through. Because the truth be told, guys, we don't have a 9 to 5 in where we have 9 to 5, 15-minute break, and a 30-minute lunch. We don't have that, right? This is how we pay our bills. This is how we pay our card note. This is what we do. Now, with that, just like teachers and doctors, I think there's certain professions that are very special. You are an essential servant, that you are changing trajectories and changing lives. And I think for us, we have a profession like that. So it's more than just collecting a paycheck. It is so much more than that. And so if that's your only reason, I don't know, but there's so much more to it where we are changing lives. But the bottom line is you cannot get caught up in that frame, because the frame was just that. When you finish taking that picture, guess what? You
got to go back to work.
You back to work.
Go back to work. You leaving that picture to go back to work.
You leaving that picture to go back to work. That's real talk. And so when I tell agents, listen, just do the work. Don't get caught up. And when they feel that, oh man, this isn't happening soon enough. What have you done? What are you doing? Who are you collabing with? What associations are you affiliated with? Where are you finding yourself? What's your sphere? Who are you calling? People don't realize, because they look at the profession and think it's so glamorous, that there's not work. This is hard. Right.
I think we was talking to, I think Angie said that, Gigi, and she was talking about one of the things that she feels that stops people from excelling to the next level, because we get caught up on the gram looking at somebody's level 10 or chapter 10 or 12 in their life, and you just on chapter 1, and you trying to equate your success to their level or your chapter 12. You in chapter 1.
Exactly.
I tell Maurice and I talk all the time, and I was telling him, I said, brother, I've been in this industry 30 days.
Right.
We're not talking about the last 20 years. No.
Right.
For the last 30 days. I'm in this business for 30 days.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So let's talk real talk. Let's get down and get to the nitty and gritty. 30 days. You know what I'm saying? And I think so many people don't want to go back to the basics. I want to touch on something that you talked about earlier, talking about mentors. And I know Felicia is one of your partners, your friends, mentors. What do you think about the whole paying mentors? You know, because there's a lot of mentors out there that you got to pay $10,000, $20,000. What do you think about paying for a mentor?
Or coaches, as they sometimes are called.
Coaches.
Right. Yeah. So, okay, again, when we look at real estate is one of multiple hundreds of professions, and having a professional coach, if you feel there's a need for your personal development or your professional development, and you feel that you need to pay someone to help you develop yourself, okay, I would say that's a personal decision you have to make. Within real estate, for instance, within my brokerage, and not to plug my brokerage, but within Residential Movement Real Estate Group, we have I'm sorry. I'm just saying. That's who I'm, That's
we get paid for that. We get paid for them shout outs. No.
But here's what we have. For the first 5 deals, there's going to be something we're working out, because you know what? We're going to have to spend a lot of time with you. We're going to have to really get you prepared. We're going to have to really cultivate you, right? We feel after 5, you should really be able to stand on your own pretty good if we've done our job well. Okay. So within a brokerage, and every brokerage is different, and they have their mentor kind of program set up however they have it set up. But the reality is, when I first started, I had a cousin who was killing it in Baltimore. And she said, I don't care what you do. I don't care how much money you could potentially make. You need to go to this particular brokerage, because their training, hands down, is the best. I don't care if you don't make anything for the first however. Go there for the training.
Wow.
So I didn't necessarily agree with her, but what I did take away from that is that training is so significant and so important if you're going to be successful in this business. So that comes in the form of a very solid, good brokerage and mentors, however they're set up. Okay. If you choose to pay for a professional coach or development within real estate, depending on what your brokerage offers, that may or may not be necessary. But whether you need training and whether you need someone to kind of, not really hold your hand, but show you the ropes, that is absolutely, positively, yes, you need that. Mm-hmm. So I think for each person, you have to figure out how can you best get that and what is going to be the best avenue for you to get that.
That's good.
Whether it's a brokerage, whether you're deciding, hey, I'm going to pay somebody to train me, or whatever. But whether you need it is not the question. You absolutely need it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Go ahead, Chris.
Listen, Jackie, you've been in the game since 2006. That's 2016, long period of time that you actually been in the game, killing it, crushing it, doing your thing. If Jackie Boyd had to go back and tell the 2016 Jackie Boyd, what would you tell that young lady to help her in her business today?
What would I tell the 2016 Jackie Boyd? So we all have things that we are really, really, really great at, and we all have things that we need to improve on, right? So I want to be a better manager of time. I want to be a better manager of my systems. Okay. I have a friend of mine, and actually and this is a good friend of mine, and he helped me come up with my slogan for all your real estate needs, trust Jackie, then relax. And he used to refer to me as the Jackie Boydisms. He's like, you got so much going on all the time. Like, you don't know whether you're here, you're there, and he would refer to it as the Jackie Boydism. So while we would laugh about it, it's kind of funny.
It's good.
When I really pull it back, like, man, our brain was not designed to multitask 1,000 things. It really wasn't. We may think it is, and we may think, oh man, I'm the queen of multitask. But reality is we were not wired to that. Okay. So now in my wisdom, and as I've seasoned a little bit, I realize that wherever I go, whatever space and place I'm allowed to be in, I want to be able to receive value and bring value. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say yes to everything. I'm not going to lead everything. I'm not going to go everywhere. I have to say no. It is a full sentence. I realize that if I'm not giving and receiving value, I have to determine if it's the best use of my time. So that would be what I would tell the 2016 Jackie Boyd. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't have to be in all places. satisfying all people, doing all things to feel some sense of accomplishment. Quite honestly, how can I spread myself so thin and be effective? What I do today, the 2023 Jaquelyn Boyd, is I want to be effective. I want to affect change, and I want to make whatever I do better than when I started, or when I started with that particular thing. And I want to be able to create something that that somebody else can follow.
That's good. That's
Gotcha.
Good.
So Jacki, I want to kind of shift a little bit. In the introduction, we talked about all the boards you sit on, diversity, the inclusion, the RPAC. You're very involved with NEFAR, and I really want to touch on the topic of diversity and inclusion, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Can you kind of give us what is NEFAR doing, what steps we're taking to be a more inclusive and diverse association here in Northeast Florida?
Right. Well, the fact that NEFAR has its first DEI is huge, and I'm so
explain to the audience.
Break it down now.
What's a DEI?
DEI is the name of the committee: Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Okay.
That's what it is. And the fact that we have our first inaugural is phenomenal, and I am so proud to have been asked to serve on that committee. NAR has has a diversity presence, within its national structure. And
I'm sorry. Is this diversity amongst other real estate agents, each other? Is that what the diversity we're talking about?
Well, yes and no. What it means is the association recognizes that we need to be inclusive of all of its members. Because all of its members represent diversity, and we need to be equitable to all members. Okay, that's what that means. Okay, because our membership reflects a melting pot, right? It reflects a melting pot, and so that's not just within NEFAR or in NAR. That's everywhere. That's everywhere. That's the world. That's right. And so recognizing that we need to make sure that all of our members understand that you are welcome. I mean, our president gave a wonderful analogy. Imagine going to a baseball field, and there are seats in the baseball field. Some are low, some are high, some are medium, and they're, some people have to look like this to look over. Some people have to move around. Some people are maybe, have to stoop. She says, take the barriers down so everybody can see. Take the barriers down so everybody can see. Another example is you go to a dance, somebody invites you to a dance, you come to a dance, but you go to the dance and you're invited, but do you feel welcome? Okay. So all of us, we have almost 12,000 members, right? And we need to make sure all of our members are feeling that you are a part of this family. You are a part of this inclusion. You are a part of feeling welcome. We're here for you. And that's what I'm so excited with the work that we're going to do moving forward and the different things that we're going to initiate and put in place, that we want all of our members to understand that you are a part. You are a part, no matter where you come from, what you look like, you are a part, all of us. Yep.
That's good. So what do you think spawned the diversity? Why do you think that came about? What took place right here in Jacksonville in your mind that made that happen? What was going on?
Well, you know what, guys, you see what I see. The world is changing, right? The world is changing. Okay. And if our national association recognizes the importance of it, then all the boards underneath realize, you know what, let's take an ear to this. Take a listen to this. We can't focus on what was. Where are we moving? How are we moving forward? And so when our National Association of Realtors recognize, hey, this is what we have in place, we realize we have to have this, then the associations beneath them, all of the boards across the country, are saying, you know what, we need to take a look at this as well. So it may not have been anything necessarily happening in Jacksonville, per se, but all across the country, we realize that things are just changing. Things are shifting. People have to recognize, listen, it's an all, not a big I, little you, it's all. We're all involved in this thing you call humanity. And when you break it down to professions and different associations, there should be equity and inclusion across the board.
Gotcha.
Wow. Go ahead, Maurice.
Go ahead, Chris.
What do you think? Let's talk about, one of the words that you used earlier was collaboration amongst real estate agents. We got to be more. Yeah. How do you feel like the climate is right now? Do you think the agents are getting more to the collaborations, trying to figure out how to help each other out? Or do you think that we still have a scarcity mindset where it's just mine, I really can't help you out?
I've had great experience with collaboration. And another dear friend of mine, Miss Latrice Hargrave, who we call ourselves energy twins. And so we talk a lot about how we, there should never be, in my mind, okay, now, I'm a very idealistic person. Let me just put that out there. When I look at a situation, I'm going to see it through an idealistic lens. Okay, that's me naturally. That's the core of who I am. Yeah. But I go into any situation and I'm like, okay, how are we doing this? How are we working together? Sure. I don't feel that if I shine, you don't.
That's good.
So some people come from a position of, I cannot work or I don't want to collab because that's going to eclipse my shine. I don't believe that. Right. My core doesn't believe that. My core believes, hey, when you shine and we shine and she shines, it's just illuminating.
We shining.
Exactly. Right. That's where I stand. So when you start from a position, right, of feeling that I have to, and I don't want to get too deep, but the spirit of poverty, okay, there's a spirit. I believe everything has a spirit. The spirit of a thing presents itself before the thing presents itself. Okay. So if there's a spirit of division, it's going to present itself before the division shows up. You see what I'm saying? If there's a spirit of envy, that's going to be in the atmosphere of wherever you are before the envy actually shows up. So the spirit of a thing presents itself before the thing actually comes to be. Okay. That's so good. With that said, if I start from a position of just out the gate, I start from a position of, oh man, I'm gonna beat them all. If that's the position, imagine the energy that I'm projecting. Whereas I go into that same space or place and I go from a position of, man, this is great. Let me see who I can meet. Let me see who I can network with. That's what I'm projecting when I'm moving around in that space and place. That's just who I am. Now I realize that, in a room of maybe 10 people, maybe, 6 may feel like me and 4 may feel the other way. But I just believe that when you can come together and work together, there's power in numbers. Now, with that said, you can't connect your wagon to everybody.
Right.
And that's where your discernment and your wisdom comes in to listen, to watch and observe. Right. And you have to know, what a person's motive is, or, you just pray for discernment. I pray for discernment because you're not going to know everybody, but you just got to pray for discernment, for you to be led in a direction that's going to be beneficial for you. And I believe that your gut will tell you that. Your gut will let you know if this is the right thing. You just feel a certain way about something. And sometimes, when you go and get involved in something or engage in something and you realize that, this is not necessarily for me. Hey, just make a pivot. That's my favorite word. You pivot. Pivot.
Gotcha.
I love it.
So let me ask you a question. So I just want to talk something different for a second. So what advice would you give brand new agents coming to this business that have a job? They have a full-time job, but they want to get into real estate. What advice would you give those folks?
It's so wonderful that you said that, because I just had a conversation with a young lady who has a full-time job. And I said to her, what are you planning to do to help your real estate career grow? Like, what is it you want to do? Like, how do you envision it? And she was stunned. She's like, I don't really know. She's like, So here's the thing. Do you realize that at work, and you have to be tactful, and you have to know when and how you can do this, but that's a sphere, your work, right? I have a friend of mine who actually, I think he was with, I can't remember who he's with. He never stopped working full time. And he was just amazing. because on his lunch break, on his breaks, whenever they had work events, people knew he sold real estate. And that's what he used as a way to, to attract customers. That was his fear. So you have to have some game plan. And sometimes when people are given a blank canvas, some people don't know how to work with blank canvases. They need something that's going to show them first, second, third, here, do this, boom, boom, boom. That's what they need, because that's how they learn. But when you're given a blank canvas and somebody says, okay, figure it out, what are you going to do? Some people aren't able to do that, but they want to. So that's when they're going to need someone to kind of help them along the way and kind of give them some tips on what they can do to still work if they have to work full time and pursue real estate. In my opinion, it would be, first of all, what is your sphere? What, your church groups, your Greek organization, letter organizations, your social organizations, your kids' school stuff, be a sponsor at something on a weekend. Speak to your kids, your kids' friends' parents. There are things you can do, even as a full-time person, to help you develop your sphere. And that's where it all starts. We realize that family and friends are usually the first customers we have, right? And then you do right by them, and they're going to say to you, you know what? Oh, I think my friend's brother was looking for something, or they trying to sell their house. So you have to start there. And sometimes it just feels like it's grassroots that you're doing, but trust me, it pays off if you're consistent and persistent.
Gotcha. So let me further ask another question. And so we've talked about training, we've talked about mentors, we've talked about accountability partners. So what part or how much does mindset play into being successful in real estate? And then what type of mindset do you need to have to be successful?
It's good.
Let me tell you something. Mindset is everything. Okay, if you think you will, you will. If you think you can't, you won't. I mean, really, bottom line. I tell my kids all the time, everything is a decision. It's just a decision. It's a decision. What decision are you making? Are you making a decision like what you decide to do is going to have an impact somewhere else? So how you think, this is so powerful. How you think will control your feet, your hands, your mouth.
Wow.
Everything. So if you got garbage up there, what do you expect? That's just 1 + 1 = 2 logic. You got garbage up there. What do you expect? If you keep telling yourself, my good friend Joanne Beapot just told me the other day, Jackie, you just like I talked about projecting energy, this right here, this is so powerful. And what you speak, I tell myself, your brain hears what this says. So when you're saying crazy stuff or stuff that, downplaying yourself or whatever, whoever, guess what? This hears it. And when this hears it, it's going to make those feet and hands go wherever this says to go. So if you understand that your mind controls what we do, what we say, everything, then perhaps maybe you'll change what's going in it.
Right. That's good.
Period. I mean, it's not rocket science, but sometimes we make the simple things so profound, right? We make them like, oh my God. No, it's not. It really comes down to two things, guys. I think the discipline, because you can have great wisdom, knowledge applied is wisdom. But when you have knowledge and you don't apply it, it's not wisdom, right? So you have to change this. You got to change your mindset. You got to decide, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired or tired or whatever, then you are going to decide to do something different.
There you go.
It's just that simple.
Like
and
you said, when you're tired of it.
When you're tired of it, and you may have to take some steps. You may have to talk to some people. You may have to, and that's where that self-motivation comes in. That's when you're going to have to say, you know what, this is what I'm doing, and I'm determined to do it. Yep. So you got to have that discipline. You got to have that determination, and you got to just have that determination, because there are some things in this career where you got to push. You got to push.
You got to push your way and break your way through some things.
Yes, you do.
Absolutely. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You got another one on that topic?
No,
So I want to know, we finna go 3 hours. That's what we finna do. Walk us through a typical day of Jaquelyn Boyd.
Whoa, typical day of Jaquelyn Boyd. So let me this is
we want the nuggets too. We want the real.
We want the real nuggets? Okay,
yeah.
This is kind of off topic, but you know, I've never been a cat lover. Okay. Grew up, didn't love cats at all, you know, just whatever. I, you know, kind of, you know, love dogs, but not for cats. My daughter came home from college one year. Well, she called me before she was coming home. She said, Mom, can I bring Loki? That's her cat. My roommate is very allergic, and can I bring him home? And I was like, absolutely not. You know, I don't do cats. Find somebody, all the people in DC, I'm sure you can find somebody to watch the cat. So a couple of weeks later, she called, Mom, I can't find anybody to watch the cat. Can you please? And so I have friends who actually I helped them find a home 5 years ago here in Jacksonville. They relocated here, and they love animals. They have 10 dogs. And so she said, can you call and see if they'll watch the cat? They have some cats. Called. That weekend was just a bad weekend for them. So she begged me, y'all. So I gave in. You know when those kids beg, right? Please, please. I gave in. Yes. That was how many years ago?
Felicia wants you to know that Gigi wants a cat.
Gigi wants a cat? Oh! So look, the cat came and I said, I had a laundry list of rules. This will not happen. This will not. Guess where the cat lives, y'all?
With you?
Your house.
With me. That was 5 years ago. 4 years ago. So the typical day in Jaquelyn Boyd's life is I get up, prayer and devotion, and I go talk to Loki. That's the first thing. I get him situated. And I won't get into the whole cat thing, but he is a very smart cat, and he's a very gentle spirit. And yeah, he makes me laugh. So that's what I do. And then I look at this thing right here.
Okay.
I'm seeing
what is
emails.
This? That's your phone.
Right.
Okay. So you're
text
checking at what time are we? What time are we right now? What time are we?
We are probably about 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Probably about 9 o'clock. Yep.
Okay. So now we're looking at our email.
Yep. I'm looking at this. Text messages, emails. And again, when I said earlier, and just keeping it 100 and a buck with y'all, you know, if I do it the right way, I won't get caught up in something I see on this. You know what I mean? Because now I see it. Now I see a message or a text that I need to jump into because I haven't done my routine. That's going to really shape my day.
Gotcha.
But I've done that multiple times. I get on this and I go right into something. You know, I haven't had my coffee. I haven't ate yet or whatever. I just jump right into that. And so now I'm an hour in perhaps. And I'm like, okay. And now I'm a little bit like that. Let me refocus. That's the wrong way to do it, y'all. That's not what you do. Okay.
That's good.
What you should do is, even if you have a cat or a dog to take care of, you get up, you do your prayer and devotion, you take care of whatever you need to take care of who you're caretaking for. And then you go into getting yourself together, get it, you know, whether you're out the house. And I'm at my brokerage office about 3 times a week. Okay. About 3 times a week. The other time I'm working from home, if I'm working or in the field, you know, and even when I'm at the broker's office, I'm still moving about in the field or whatever. So the right way to do it is to not get caught on this before you actually shape your day.
There you go.
Now, let's go back for a minute. Even before the day starts, the night before, the right thing to do is to write your to-do list for tomorrow.
That's good.
Before I settle in for the night, let me write out all the things I have to do tomorrow. Okay. And I need to go through that list. And what I don't complete on that day carries over to the list for that night for the next day.
There you go. That's good.
That is how you really, and I love checking off things. I love lists. You know what I'm saying? Because it prevents your brain from having to keep all this stuff up there that you have to do. When you see it, it's amazing how you can check off the list and how it makes you feel. It's like, man, I did that.
Accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's that it's a quick hit of dopamine that you're gonna get when you start accomplishing certain stuff. It's that quick it's a quick fix.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
Go ahead.
For sure.
So when do we so now basically we kind of set our stage, set our day, we're checking our emails. When are we going into production? When are we going into let me go get some money? Let me figure out who want to buy, who doing how do we transition into that? And what are you doing?
So here's the thing, you do realize that all your activities, if you have A activities, A-rated, if you were to grade your activities, the activities we should be doing most of the day are our A and B activities, right? Not our C and D activities.
Break those things down for our new agents who don't understand what's the difference between an A, B, and a C activity. Because I'm trying to get my desk cleaned up. My desk, see, I got my desk all messed up. I want to make sure that my desk is clear and I got my little ornaments in the right place. Where is that located in my day? A, B, or C?
So let's talk about the A, because that's what's going to that's going to be the most revenue producing activities.
There you go.
Right? Okay. So what is revenue producing? Right? It's selling a house. It's listing a house. How do you sell or list? Right? You're going to start with people that you need to talk to or call. Right? So making your phone calls, doing your follow-ups, that is huge, because they may not have an immediate turn, but they're the ones that you use to keep that pipeline full, right? Your pipeline, see, we're now in June. We should be working on, quite honestly, pipeline for August. I'm not even gonna say July.
That's good. Okay.
Okay. I mean, you could say July, but giving yourself a little room there in case one of your Julys fall off. We need to be working on August. So July should be on lock. We're now June 15th. July should be on lock. Right? So if we back into that, we need to be calling all the time. I'm big on phone calls. I text a lot. Right? So I'm texting my customers constantly. Right? And then I'm getting, by the grace of God, thank you, Lord, I'm getting referrals from people. One of my friends was, somewhere, she met somebody, referred the customer to me, took them out. She's going to be moving here.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So you have to, those phone calls, and some people, they believe in, the door knocking, the passing out the cards, all the tasks that have a reaping return of a lead that's going to ultimately turn into, a sale, a listing, or a sale. Okay. Those are your A activities.
Got it.
Okay. Your C and D activities.
We call those income producing activities.
Income producing
IPAs.
IPAs. That's what they are. And those you need to do. So now in the midst of those, you still need to, you got your customer, they may be having a home inspection, first time buyer, they want you there. Okay. That's something. Now to me, let me tell you, even though that is a lot of time, this very time consuming, I look at it like this. For me, I honestly believe first time buyers, you need to be with them throughout the entire process.
Sure.
Okay. And not even first time buyers. I mean, some of your buyers just want you there to start in the example of a home inspection, to start that. You may not stay the entire time, but you want to be there for them. You want to let them know that you are there for them. And I think the thing for me that sets me apart is that it's not cliche for me to say, I got you. You know what I mean? And I believe that my time invested, even though it may look like a C activity, it has reaped me A results.
Got it.
Because I'm taking care of them in such a way that they are referring family and friends to me. So if I got to spend some extra time with a particular customer that may not seem like an A activity, but I know in the long run, it's going to reap me an A. And here's the thing. I feel like when you do that, it's just going to work out. It's going to work itself out. I may spend more time over here that may not give me as much back, but what I'm getting from that is I'm going to see it a little bit down the road.
That's good.
So, but I feel for me personally, because I'm a little bit seasoned, I'm able to do that. But for the newer agent, I'm saying focus on those A and B activities. The C and D activities would be, okay, let me, maybe you got to clean your desk or organize and not to say that that's not important, because it is important, but you just have to know where to place that and what time of your day you want to do that, because there's certain slots of time. There's certain times throughout the day that are A times, and there's certain times that are C times. So you need to even be performing those A activities during those A times of the day. You know what I mean? That makes a big difference.
It makes a difference. That's huge. Take that time, make sure that, when you're doing those C activities, it's after hours. Those C activities don't have to do during business hours. That's not business money. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Cleaning your desk and making sure that your board is perfect, and make sure you got the right the marker colors.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you got the tops on them and all that type of stuff. Make sure that's cool. That's gonna get you where you want it. That's busy work. And a lot of times folks get caught up in busy work as opposed to income producing activities. Don't allow your busy work to consume you, that you can't produce your income producing activities. That's great stuff, Jackie. Good stuff.
And let me go back to something for a minute. You all asked about collaboration. It just hit my brain. It's not an afterthought. It's just that I was moving my mouth so fast that I didn't say it. But with collaborating. So one of my colleagues, very good friend of mine, Keith Royal, he and I are both from the DMV area. And we wanted to do something to where, what could we do together? That goes back to your question about, do you feel that agents are working together? You have to find people that you have some commonality with, and figure out, okay, how can we collab? What can we do together that's logical and makes sense? And so that's how a lot of teams are created, and all teams are not created equal, but you have to know what works for you and what doesn't. But I think going back to your question about, do you think that agents are working together, or are they kind of, just in it for ourselves? You have to find the right people to partner with. And when you find the right people to partner with, that could be a wonderful collaboration.
Henceforth, the real talk in real estate.
So let me ask you one last question. I know we're about running up on time, Jackie, but where do you see your business in the next 10, 15, 20 years?
Great question.
Yeah.
What's your exit strategy?
I love relocation. I really do. I that is a niche that I really love. And the reason why, it's multiple reasons why, but the main reason why is that you are an ambassador, right, for your city, right? Imagine somebody coming to a place they've never been before, and they're depending on you to learn it. So you have to know it, you have to be proud of it, and you have to be able to express that. Okay. So I love relocation. So I am looking to do some things that, whatever. And I've had a good, in this pipeline between Baltimore and Baltimore, DC and Jacksonville. It's real. And Baltimore is considered the charm city. So I have this little slogan, from the charm city to the river city. You know what I mean? And so all of those who have thought about, relocating to Jacksonville, when you do right by them, let me tell you something. They're going to tell all their friends and family. It's just what it is. So I really, really like that. But I'm just about to, I'm going to be taking the a class next week, Certified International Property class, CIPS services. And so I want to be able to have at the end of the class, I'll get a designation. It's through NEFAR. I'll get a designation that says I am, a certified international property services agent. And I want to have that designation in the event that I want to do, something in the international realm. So in 20 years, I don't necessarily want to see myself jumping in and out of cars.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So what I hope to do is to get some investment properties and invest. I think that's where we need to focus in terms of not servicing, but being a provider of real estate, right?
Okay.
That to me is big. When you look at all the development that's happening in Jacksonville, I mean, we are number 2 in the state. Tampa number 1 for where people want to be, right? We have the land here. We should have a piece of that pie, right? And in order to do that, you have to understand that whole market. So that's where I see myself. I want to be able to own. I want to be able to own properties to provide services as a property owner of real estate. I want that to happen. And I think I will always because I'm so transactional and I love people, and I will always want to have something, whether I'm training or helping others to do that. I see myself being able to do that. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, I mean, we can end it, or we can do one final question. Your thoughts. We dropped you off in the middle of a brand new city.
Uh-oh.
You don't know anybody there. What's the first thing that Jaquelyn Boyd gonna do?
Whoa. First thing I'm gonna do. Brand new city, don't know anybody there. Jaquelyn Boyd would probably find a church. That is real.
Okay.
That is real, because Yeah, that is probably what I would do. I don't know anybody there, or some type of affiliation that I have with people where I can connect to people.
Got it.
For me personally, that was real. You know what I mean? I didn't know anyone. And it was through my church that I met so many people, and through somebody from Baltimore whose niece was here, and she kind of connected me. So I can only go by my experience, and that's what I would do.
Gotcha.
I would like to say this though, for all the new agents out there. Listen, train. NEFAR has so much to offer. Train, learn. You know, create your credibility with how much you know in this industry. Okay. And talk, meet people, work hard, hustle. You know what I mean? You got to hustle, you got to work. Don't get caught up on the gram. These are my little ending sound bites. Don't get caught up on the gram. Don't get caught up on that frame in time. It's just a frame in time. You know what I mean? And find that person who's going to be your checkmate person, holding you accountable. Definitely.
That's
so
good. Absolutely.
Good.
So good.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Jackie, for that final thought. Absolutely.
You're so welcome.
She brought it. Come
on now.
I said what you said.
I mean, y'all say this is real talk and real estate, right?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what we want too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So kudos to you. We, when Maurice and I talked about the show, of course, we had a list of folk, and we so glad that you on here. You was there. You was one of the ones. And we're so glad that you graced us with your presence, brought the realness, dropped the gems. I took notes. I don't know if you saw me right. I wasn't ignoring you. I'm right. I'm like, I ain't gonna let that one go. I'm gonna use that. But great content, great show, and I can see why you're one of the top agents out there.
Well, thank you, Chris.
I appreciate that.
And I'm honored to know both of you. I've seen what you're doing. I love the show. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep bringing it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we got to do another. So probably we're gonna do it soon. We're gonna probably do a part 2 because we have more stuff that we could talk about. We're gonna have a part 2 at some point. So
okay. All right.
All right, y'all. So listen, everybody. Thank you for tuning in again. Maurice, as always, brother, my co-host, hosting it up, doing his thing. Man, you just shave your beard, brother.
Man, you just can't see it behind the microphone.
Oh, okay. Looking good. I'm gonna get mine. Like that. I don't know yet. All right, everybody. Until next time, don't talk about it. Be about it. We out.
Bye, guys.